everybody.
Good evening.
I'm Brother Shaka Malik Nafari, local chairman of the People's Good Black Panther Party and the Huey P. Newton Gun Club. And we're here to present to you Light Burley, 52 blocks practitioner, master teacher. And we're going to basically come together and show the community what it's like, to experience a martial art that is basically designed and created by your own people, African Americans. It's actually the only indigenous martial art. Here at the Huey P. Newton Gun Club, we specialize in self-preservation, self-defense, so this is perfect for our people to learn. So stay tuned, everybody, and introducing one of the best living legend, Light Burley.
Thank everybody for coming out. I'm pretty sure it was hard to get here, and Mr. Earl gave me that great introduction, and some of the points that he spoke on is what we're going to talk about. The only indigenous martial arts here, 52 blocks, and created by us, created by black culture. What does that mean? To every culture there's a fighting system. The Indians have a fighting system. Germans, everybody has their own unique fighting system. So there should be no reason to believe that we wouldn't have our own fighting system. And we're going to go back to the factuals, the facts, and we'll use boxing, because boxing is one of the martial arts over here in America that is part of our history. We got Ali, who decided, he told them, I ain't got no beef with them Viet Congs, and then go to the draft, and it was him, they don't talk about, it was Ali that got the draft started, the ending of the draft started with that move, and what he said by saying, I ain't got no beef with no Viet Cong, and giving up his belt. He believed it so much that he gave up his belt. Joe Louis, one of my favorite boxers, he did play ball. He said, no, I'm gonna go in the army like they said, and in the end, they stole all his money. He died broke, decrepit. So Ali took a stand, and the stand he took helped other people, get out of the draft. And we take a look at Jack Johnson, who, a great champion, was hit with the Mann Act, and he had a, he had a white wife, and going border to border, they hit him with the Mann Act, which was transporting white women across state lines with for nefarious reasons, I guess. And the reason they did this was because of what he brought to boxing. What he brought to boxing was defense. Jack Johnson fought in the chitlin circuit. 10 black men in the ring blindfolded for the master's pleasure. And you would figure if you're blindfolded, any win you get would have to be some type of luck. When Jack Johnson was a constant winner of this. And it was his defensive prowess that helped him even blindfolded. And it was him that brought to the game the defensiveness that eventually took boxing from being an outlawed thing to being called the sweet science. And the sweet science is offense was already there, but we came and added defense. We brought both parts, and we added the defense to boxing, which made boxing the sweet science. So when you start to ask yourself, the 52 blocks exist, you have to ask yourself, what about all this history and facts that we have in front of us? One reporter was quoted as saying, look at young Jack Johnson catching all of the punches on his forearms and elbows, using his blocks to set up alternate strikes. So what was he doing? So when you hear the name 52 blocks, you can't get caught up in the actual name. It's the principles that were already in effect. Archie Moore using the cross-arm defense. These principles were already in effect that led to the creating of the style of 52 blocks. And 52 blocks, its excellence comes through defense, its ability not to be hit. And this thing of defense is a mercy thing. This is the greatest thing we're going to have. You get into a fight and your only thing is to kill somebody, then you're not going to last long. Defense is mercy. Defense is humility. You know, so these things that you get from 52 blocks is not just a fighting system. Just like every fighting system comes with attributes. You know, like you look at the Chinese martial arts system, they always got some type of moral ground they're going to. The same thing with 52 and defense. So that's what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about 52 and 52 A.O.D, which is my perception of 52 blocks and everything I know, and slightly alter to fit what I do. And that's what you want to do with all arts. You know, you want to tailor fit it to you. You know, all arts are like fabric, and you have to be the seamstress that makes the suit that fits you. You know, you can't just go into Muay Thai as a midget and think that's a good art for you. You know, there's certain attributes you need to have to even be a good Muay Thai fighter or a boxer. But defense is for everybody. Children all the way up to 880, dumb, crippled, and crazy. Defense is for everybody. And that's what we are talking about here at 52 blocks, the defense, which is also leads back to the defense of our people. This is just one form of defense. And we have to have many, but this form here we need because if we are called in a war, you know, we can fight for a good cause. And a good cause is good, but you want to fight with excellence for your good cause. You want to win.
Yes, sir.
So that's what we're here to do, and that's where, you know, Mr. Earl brought me down here with everything he's doing to spread this 52 blocks to, you know, to the gun club, and because it's more than just about the guns and stuff like that, so that we are well-rounded soldiers. And so if the war comes, we are prepared.
Right.
But right now, what I'm going to do is demonstrate some of the things of 52 A.O.D, demonstrate 52 blocks. You know, I would love to keep talking and yada, 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 and all, but I think we need to get down to the actual meat and potatoes in this thing here. So I'm going to have Mr. Earl come up to help me with some demonstrations. And first we're going to go through, you know, elements of 52 blocks, and then we'll go into the elements of where 52 A.O.D outgrows that. Oh yes, sir. All right, so 52 blocks as a system is looking to be defensive, and usually it was meant against punches. I get a lot of guys that come and say, what about kicks? And we've dealt with some kicks, but it was mainly a boxing art, because boxing was the #1 fighting sport that we had at the time. So it was mainly about punches, but there are some kicks that take the same path as a punch, so you can block it too. You know, you may have to block it on the move, because legs are heavier, but you could still block it the same way you would block a punch. So everybody knows the first move, Skull and Bones, is pretty famous out there. It's one of the moves that everybody loves. So, you know, we're getting into a confrontation. Well, I've already figured, well, let me move this to the side. So here's the situation. You know you're about to engage in the fight. The fight started. He's already gained his position, his hands up. So Skull and Bones looks to counter the strikes and close the distance. So a lot of people may think that that this is just a Skull and Bones. This is good, but what happens with this is it puts you on your back leg. And if he was to follow up, it'd be hard for me to move. So what you want to start learning with your Skull and Bones is that the hands and feet have to operate together. So as he punches, now this is just a small move. It doesn't look like it's done anything big with it again, but now for your right hand. Exactly, see this? The leverage. So when you are fighting people, what you want to do is get their punches to cross their symmetry. That's where power dies. So right here, if this was his right hand, I could easily collapse that. You know, so what you want to do is as he throws the punch, step off so that it forces his right hand across. So even if I have to come with my red Skull and Bones, he's off balance and I can attack him. So you don't want to get caught up in blocking as a stop. That's where karate blocks had a problem. Throw a shot. and they're grounded. And, you know what I'm saying? And this hand is like, what's it doing? You know, no disrespect to karate, but that's why karate blocks stop at, because if you're actually blocking to stop in a motion type of thing, and his motion is good or his momentum is good, he can roll right over you. So what you want to learn with your skull and bones is to learn how to move your feet offline as you make your, exactly like I can beat him, as you make your move. So it's equivalent to doing this. Put it right here. Right. Is to move your feet. You know, you're going to get hit. But if you get hit here and frozen, then you have to deal with the second shot. Even if I take the hit here and I'm still moving, I've already zoned this. So the key is to put the defense in your feet. Let your hands be servants of the feet. The feet are the ones that actually need to make the move to bring the arms in. So this is 52, and it's meant to deal with striking, no matter if you're throwing 3 strikes at me, no matter what your strikes are. You know, this is one thing I don't like to do with martial art demonstrations is throw the left hand. What I like to do is throw whatever you want to throw, buddy. You know, so you know, I don't know what he's throwing, but I know my feet are moving, and I'm making contact. Now, where does 52 A.O.D grow from this? So, 52 blocks is defensively to the point he's looking for strikes. Once we engage in maybe a tussle, this is where 52 blocks starts to die, and you need to move on to the next art, which would be 52 A.O.D, which is my vision of 52, which adds Pakwa, Tai Chi, Muay Thai, ground game. So, and we also have a gun and knife that we're going to look at today. It's like, you know, I see a lot of knife drills that I disagree with because I'm from the hood. You know what I'm saying? I've seen people get knifed before, and it never goes that way. You know, I've seen the gunshot wounds. So it's all, when you're dealing with things like that, you have to move and move efficiently. So we're going to show 52 A.O.D. Now 52 A.O.D, off that same strike, where do we go? Right here. We already move in for taking the balance and closing the gap. Because they say a lot of fights are going to go to the ground and you're going to end up grappling. Right. So with 52 A.O.D, we already started and let them have to work their way out of it. So with Pakwa is a spinning art that uses a lot of footwork and grappling, and they use a lot of head control to control the man. They use joints and the head. They're very good with the neck joint. Tai Chi, where we're going to show A.O.D. in the Tai Chi application, is the ability to learn how to chin-na somebody, you know, in all points. Control them. With little to no effort. See, Tai Chi says, in Tai Chi it says 4 ounces moves 1,000 pounds of pressure. So that means that if I'm dealing with him, I'm not muscling him. You know, he gives me a strike, we're going to go with it. Yeah, see, we're going to go with what he got. He's already going in that direction. So I'm going to misleverage him, and then that's where the Pakwa come in. So with 52 A.O.D, we use the blocks to gain contact to the person instead of this. Which is nothing wrong with this. This is good because he's going to be punching you. But where 52 A.O.D is going to take it, sticking. And if you see that move, again, if you notice, look at the move. My wrist never touched him. And that whole move, the hand doesn't touch him. So this is the way you control a man's arm, not like this. Because this right here puts his brain on notice. Something's going on. You know what I'm saying? We need to worry about this guy. But when you do this, you see, like you can see, there's no real red alert going off in his brain because it doesn't understand this motion more Yeah, and you can see his eye, because that's the brain saying he's grabbing us. Why has he got his hands on us? And using Pakwa with your 52 blocks, what you learn is how to make contact without ever using your palm. So that way when you do have to use them, they become like surprises at the end that you make your move. So let's take a look at the knife thing. I'm gonna got that knife. Bring that knife in there.
We keep stopping this, we're gonna take it off then I guess, cause it does it on live for some reason.
Okay, now we got 52 blocks versus the knife. So now if he's jabbing me with the knife and I'm doing skull and crossbones, I'm hit. now, maybe this is something you may have to do. If you gotta take the knife in the arm, take the knife in the arm over the neck any time. But see, now that the weapon with sharpness is involved, now your blocks have to change. You're no more blocking more than you're intercepting. Because you have to stay away from this. A block would cause the cut. And that's where 52 blocks has to grow. That's why 52 A.O.D. looking at. So you see a lot of times these knife drills, give me a stab, and you'll see all of this good stuff, and it looks real pretty. But the man is doing nothing. His hand is doing nothing. He's not even cursing at me. You know what I'm saying? Like, if we were really engaged and it was really on, that's not how it's going to look. Like I was speaking to Earl before, like, let me show you that block. Like, if you stand there, he's going to, yeah, I've already started poking.
You're right.
You know, like, if you go to block a knife, you're going to get caught. So us at the 52 A.O.D. camp, we use the art of the